you're saying is just ringing bells, just one after another. When I studied A-level art, my art teacher was really stubborn, but had some of the best results in the district, literally.
Yeah.
And people didn't mess with him. His department was almost an annex on the rest of the school because the funding was tenfold what other departments got. But he justified that because he got the results.
Yeah.
I argued with him for 2 years straight and then came out with an A. You try doing that in maths.
Yeah.
But the reason I was able to do that is because my output was roughly about a third hands-on creating stuff, 2/3 justification. So some of the contentious and controversial things that I was delving into, I was explaining why, which made it more difficult to kind of dismiss.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot through him, really.
Oh, 100%. And I just want to say at this point, right, we're on 31 minutes, which I told you it's gone pretty quick, right?
Yeah, very quick.
This one's for my family. The four family members that obviously know that they're my 4 family members. I have a bigger family than that as well, but this podcast, this one's for my family. So if you're still listening, which I hope you are, guys, this one's for you, because this is, again, I don't mean to say it, it's not disrespectful, and I hope you know that, but this is a perfect stranger that's just sharing his experiences with me, who actually reached out to me on Facebook as a platform for this, and he's saying and agreeing with the fact that
you're making it sound like I needed you.
No, you don't. No, I needed you. Ian, I needed you. That's the point. Quite the opposite. I needed you.
We need each other. We just need to try and make people more aware. When I was first diagnosed, not many people had even heard of manic depression, let alone bipolar disorder. What I find now is people often have heard the term, but have incorrect ideas about it. They think that you can start a sentence depressed, and by the end of it, you're manic. Now, okay, rapid cycling, there is an aspect to that, but it's still not that. It's still not that clear cut. People talk about the weather being bipolar, and there's the whole Kanye meme thing about I suffer from bipolar. I love it, or something like that.
Bipolar is awesome. No, it's something like I hate bipolar. It's awesome. I hate being. It's his album.
He denies that diagnosis now because someone told him that his behaviour is down to sleeplessness, which is a symptom of bipolar.
Yeah.
So in his head, that's not the thing that's affecting him. I look at him in interviews and just think, well, that's the equivalent of me, only with millions of dollars and stardom and success and recognition, all the rest of it.
There's no reason to say you can't make millions of dollars, Ian. I mean, that's...
No, this is it. Some people, they're not even diagnosed because the risks that they take have been very fortuitous, and they've earned themselves a lot of money.
Yeah, but the thing is how did Kanye West start? He started because his lyrics were so on point and his production was so on point that people were like, wow, this guy's good. And then... Yeah,
I mean, musically, I'm an old school rap kind of fan, so he's kind of from an era... See, I'm old. I'm 46.
Not old.
So I go back to the late 80s, early 90s, which I think was kind of the golden age for me with hip-hop.
Yeah.
So I don't know an awful lot about Kanye beyond what I've picked up about his behaviour.
I mean, I'm 31, so I was born in 1990, and I mean, Slow Jams probably came out, which was his first song that made him famous. Essentially, was probably 2000, somewhere between 2000 and 2002.
Yeah, I've got very little idea of rap. I mean, Eminem, I kept kind of up with. There are a couple of other lesser artists, but on the whole, old school rap's my thing. Gangster rap as well.
What kind of old school rap?
KRS-One, Cypress Hill, and any of the Soul Assassins really. Cypress Hill, Funk Dubious, House of Pain, saw the House of Pain live.
Wow.
Beastie Boys, Ice Cube, very much like Ice Cube's absolutely fantastic in my book.
Yeah.
Very down to earth. Has stayed with his wife throughout. Puts a lot into his communities. Ice-T for the shock value, a lot, body count, a lot of the crossover bands, that sort of thing. I mean, I have a really, really, everyone, or a lot of people say they have eclectic taste in music. I like really gay 70s, late 70s, really 80s, high energy dance music and pop. On the flip side, I like old school gangster rap and Slipknot and things like that. So
yeah, but I'm exactly the same. Can we just clarify, just because I know that it wasn't in an offensive way, but what do you mean by gay 70s, as in like Wham and that kind of stuff?
Oh, things that were sometimes marketed to a very pink pound kind of clientele, very metrosexual kind of. I mean, even stuff like early Kylie, and even when Kylie went a bit indie. I mean, that's not derogatory at all. I'm no homophobe, but trust me.
Not at all. No, Ian. I didn't think you were at all. It's just I just want to be super sensitive.
Erasure, to some degree. Depeche Mode are actually my favourite band. I've seen them live. Yazoo, Jimmy Somerville, Soft Cell. A lot of difficult to kind of pigeonhole, but a lot of things that a lot of people associate with kind of the gay scene.
Oh yeah. I do. And this is the thing. Like, I'm the same. I have a massively eclectic mix to the point where like I get something out of Baby Shark. I'm not going to lie to you. Do you know what Baby Shark is?
No, oh yeah.
Yeah, like, I definitely get something out of that. I also get something out of dubstep. I also could literally listen all day to classical, and I'm not just that guy that's saying it. I can literally, you can go on my Spotify. Bipey Fox has a Spotify, of course, and if you really had a look, you could find a playlist called R&R. It's currently on about 1,600 songs. I started it like 2 months ago, and the mix is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I started it for the girl that I'm seeing, and because I said, look, what's your favourite type of music? Because we were going to go for a road trip. So I was like, just give me some songs I can put on there. And that's how it started. And it's just, that's what I love about Spotify. But that's a different story. But do you...
No, I don't use it. I need to really by the sounds of it.
It's the best £10 you'll spend a month. I mean, honestly, without it, I wouldn't... You can, I mean, after we're done, I always have a little chat afterwards anyway. I'm sure we'll carry on talking because, we've still got loads of time left anyway. But after the podcast, I can introduce you to B or Rob, my housemate. And, I mean, when I say it's the soundtrack to my life, the only time I'm not listening is when I'm doing a podcast. I literally...
I'm the same. I very rarely listen in silence. I will have something on. Invariably, it's either American news. I got a bit of don't like him, don't respect him. Wanted to do a little bit of research into Trump when he said he was going to run, and was just absolutely amazed by his history and how much of an awful person he is, and how he ticked pretty much all the boxes for narcissistic personality disorder.
Interesting. I mean, there is someone...
There is sorry to interrupt. There is a psychologist in America, I wish I could remember his name, because I do like to cite these things. But before he announced, decades before he announced he was going to run, this psychologist was teaching people about narcissistic personality disorder. And in order to do it, he showed his students lots of clips of Trump through the years, because he said it was much cheaper than hiring actors and actresses to act things out to make the points, because it's all there to see, because Trump loves the camera.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is, I love how you started that saying I don't like him, because do you know what? Like,
just to say I'm obsessed with Trump, to open that sounds like
Oh, by the way, Donald Trump's. I'm a fanboy. Literally, there's a life-size poster on my wall. In fact, I can see it in the background there. Ian. What are you talking about?
But it became a bit of an obsession because if I don't know about something, I try and make an effort to look into it. I'll never understand quantum physics, but I have tried. And I thought it was only going to be a case of an hour or two to look into Trump, just have an idea about what he's about and what he's really about, you know. And it ended up being like 3-4 years worth of systematically going through pretty much everything I could get my hands on, online and especially. I was not so much reading, but I often listen to audiobooks. So I was listening to lots of different audiobooks about people who've written about him. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. All the signs are there, but so people are inadequately equipped to understand and appreciate the fact that he's quite obviously a prime example of someone with that condition.
Yeah.
And it's the same with bipolar disorder a lot of the time. People just don't have the vocabulary to understand.
Oh, 100%, Ian. Like that, one of the main things is changing language for me, but also in a sense that I said to B again the other day. I was like, you know, there's. I shouldn't say that, but there's basically I've tried to remove negativity in my life in terms of, there's a reason for me saying this, in terms of just people really, because people make my world turn in the best way. And essentially what it is I said I want to help the people that are suffering, right? And everyone's suffering.
No, I want to help people that don't know about it in order for them to help the people that are suffering. If you look at, in terms of people's awareness, it's if people aren't aware, that's not conducive to the mental health and well-being of people who are really suffering, whether they're depressed or manic. And suicide, especially amongst guys of our age range, is horrendous, the suicide rate. I mean, it goes on throughout other age ranges, but for ours particularly, it's very, very prevalent. How much of that is preventable?
Yeah.
How much of that is preventable by actually giving people the tools and a bit of life experience, not life experience, but a bit of know-how, a bit of insight, not to be so snap judgmental, knee-jerk reactionaries. Knee-jerk reactionaries really do my head in.
What do you mean by that, Ian?
People who make snap decisions and have snap opinions without actually analysing the reality of the situation. I've thought of an example I don't think is necessarily the best, but the one that springs to mind is after 9/11, people took to their cars because they didn't trust planes anymore. Now, that's understandable because that happened. It was horrific and people were killed. As a consequence of more people taking to their cars, I think it was some German statisticians actually looked into it, and they worked out how many more people had died from road accidents as a consequence of them taking to their cars.
Yeah. And it was probably more, right?
Oh, much more. Significantly more.
Yeah, I mean...
So it may seem common sense to say, well, that happened in planes, therefore don't go in planes. But statistically, they've always been far safer than road vehicles anyway.
I think
sometimes people's instincts aren't able to comprehend things like that.
100%. But I think the way I look at it with planes, and I'm going to whack it out there, is anyone that's scared of planes or flying, just literally, excuse the pun, brace yourself. I think the thing for me with flying is we can look at statistics as much as you want, but the difference being is that, without sounding arrogant, I know I'm a good driver, and statistics wise I can tell you all of the reasons why. Again, I won't bore you with it, but advanced.
I'm a rubbish driver. That's why I don't do it.
Well, yeah, but in terms of, I've done advanced driving courses and I've driven on tracks and had a very good teacher in terms of who actually taught me, and my dad's a very good driver as well and all that kind of stuff, so I feel like I'm very good with driving. And a lot of people say with driving, they say, it's not you, it's the other person. But the point for me is, stats aside,